So you just didn't go to college and learn, I just learned computer programming while I was there. No, you learned everything because you had 40 years to do it. So you learned everything. But even all the intellectual advancement that most of the Afrocentric scholars is talking about is still the low level. Because after you learn the intellectual thing, and the intellect is the lowest level of the actual mystery system, then you went into what is called the spiritual aspect, or you learn them both together. So it was both the physical, you have the intellect, and the spiritual, you have the right brain. So the intellect is left brain. The spiritual is right brain. So now when the brothers say the sisters are not as smart, no, it's just that you are using the mathematical equations and the sister is using the spiritual equations. And the spiritual is more higher. So therefore you have to start breaking down this left brain and going into the right brain. You call it female intuition. No, it's the female spiritual ability that you're supposed to have, but you're not using left brain. It is not logic. Now the white boy always uses logic, and he uses the 7 liberal arts, but he don't understand that there's another spiritual side. But he can only get that part. Now the worst thing we ever made was the thinking when the white boy got to jump on us. The white boy was saying that I'm just as smart as you are. And the only thing, so the reason why we couldn't monitor that is because the white boy proved that intellectually we were almost the same, even though we are smarter than them. It takes them a longer time to get to that stage. Whereas us, you see, we can do this thing like that. But it's just that they systematically in the school shut us down. You know that conspiracy to destroy black boys, because Joanza and Jupa. You see what I'm saying? But even in intellect, where the white boy is talking about his intellect and all this stuff he can do, and then like he building these buildings and all this technology. Intellect is the lowest part. Tell the white boy, if you superior, then show me how spiritual you are. Not intellectual. Intellect is low. You can teach a monkey how to do shit.
But what about the people who would come and say, you know, with all the spiritual stuff, I mean, you still are oppressed.
Right, but see,
still not...
Exactly, and the reason why we say that is this. First of all, let's get on this white man. When you talk about, is he spiritual? He can't be. He killed all the animals off the earth. He killed the water. He killed the air. He killed all the people off the earth. He killed the earth, and now he's trying to kill space. That's nothing spiritual at all, because he's not one with nature. He's destructive. So that's no contest on where he's spiritual. Now, he don't have that spirituality. That's why you got to keep looking in the Bible, looking in the book, and quoting scriptures. But can you live like a goddamn twat? Excuse the expression.
In other words, you are saying now, then, that our spiritual development reflects our ability to be one with nature and coexist.
That's right. Now, you asked the question, if we have the actual ability to be spiritual, why are we oppressed? The reason why we are oppressed is not because we don't have the ability to be intellectual. We can be intellectual, and if you notice, black people fill every position in the world except vice president and president. Everything else we got. That ought to let you know, and we could probably run the presidency better than the white man, because we're going to be fair about it. Whereas his president is based on exploitation, because you don't get in that chair now unless you take an oath with the Illuminati and be one with the New World Order. But let's deal with this. The reason why we have been oppressed, because we're thinking we need to be the best we can be based on the intellect that the white boy gives us, which is only 33 degrees of what he learned from us in the first place. But we don't understand the reason why we're oppressed is the simple fact that we have lost the aspects of spirituality. Now, when we still say black people are more spiritual, no, you were talking about based on fundamentalism, how you feel. Yes, the spirit is in you. That's called edukare, to draw out. You got the 360 degrees in you. But that's to draw out. But what we're talking about here is when you go into the fundamentalism, yeah, you reading the Bible, and yes, there's something spiritual in you that makes you even better than the white Christian, but that is not even tapping into the real spirituality, because most Christians, when you start talking about real spiritual things, astral planes, Buddhic planes, etheric planes, the Devashanic planes, the hierarchy of Sirius, disappearing, living underwater, living under the dirt, not breathing, not eating, never eating again in your life, then they say you're crazy. So it's one thing to talk about spirituality and to have what you call religious ceremony. It's another thing of transforming yourself to another level. Now, back to the one little thing before we get off this here. Why are black people oppressed? Because black people have lost the physical and spiritual abilities to be none other than God, because it's not written in your law that ye are God. So what is the black man capable of doing? The black man is not just capable of running a doggone society. We've done that before, and the white man just copying us and doing a bad job of it. But black man is capable of running the universe, and everything you see the animals that can do out here, black people can do. We can fly, we can shake shit. So we're talking about a whole nother consciousness. Now, the key to the whole thing is this. This is the key on why we have failed. Number one, the vibratory rate had fallen, and so it was inevitable. We was going to fall anyway, because that's the process of devolution. Just like the earth goes to sleep and things, we go through a transformation stage where we go through a metamorphosis and we go through a hibernation stage. Because we are spiritual people, and we are earth people, and we are cosmic people, and the cycles of time, you go into hibernation stages as well as rebirth. So there's a darkness period, so it was going to come anyway. You see what I'm saying? The key why we cannot make it and why we are oppressed, because we are thinking that success in this society is to be like the white boy as far as running the society, and that is the lowest level of society. We're only basing that off materialism, and materialism is the lowest part of the planet, of the cosmos. The physical plane is the lowest part. That's the dead part. But we have gone through the materialistic part. That's what we have when we see the physical structures of Egypt. Now it's time to go back to the spiritual parts. So we have outgrown what you know of as physical life on this planet, but by us being spiritual beings, because we have a black dot in us, it's time for us to go to the other level on which we were when we first came on the planet. You see. So we didn't come on the planet as physical beings in what you see Egypt. We came on the planet as spiritual beings, and we went into what you call Egypt when the vibratory rate slowed down. That was our physical existence, and we lasted for a couple of thousand years in the physical. But now it's time to go back to the spiritual on what we first did when we came into the planet, when we were the gods of the universe. So we have outgrown this. So now we understand the reason why the white boy is trying to hold on to all of this, for the simple fact he is only on the physical level, and he can't get to that level because he don't have the black dot. He doesn't have the chaos black dot of the chaos sphere. But we do. So now what's happened with black people are following white people, and we're thinking we needed economics, we need all of the things that we have outgrown. We have gone through that stage. We don't need that anymore. Now the brotherhood is saying it's time for you to take back your planet and be the rightful rulers. That's the same thing when you look at the gods in Egypt and what they used to do, or either look at the Greek gods. Real key, because see, what you don't realize, the Greek gods come from Egypt. And when you look at what Zeus and Apollo and all them used to do with those particular stories, or with Isis and Osiris, that's the stuff that we do, because the gods is nothing we're talking about a race of people who fell. You see, from the universal prime creator. So now if the Bible says, is it not written in your law that ye are gods, or God is not supposed to live like the white boy, we're supposed to live better than that. You see what I'm saying?